TIFU by not cleaning the depths of my belly button. TLDR. Didn't realize how deep my belly button was and never cleaned it fully. It sealed up and I cracked it open like a cold beer. This happened 3 days ago and I'm still a bit traumatized. I was taking a shower and cleaning my belly. I do clean my belly button, but I only ever really swabbed the entrance and thought that was good enough. On this fateful day, I wasn't really paying attention to what I was doing. My soapy washcloth slipped and plunged deep into the depths of my navel. I felt a brief but intense pain, almost like I had just poked myself hard in the belly button. After a quietly muttered, "Ow," and a cursory check for blood or viscera, I finished my shower and went about my day. I foolishly believed that my belly button problems were behind me. Little did I know. I spent the rest of the day with a growing pain in my navel region. I felt discomfort when I bent down, or even laid on my belly. I brushed off the pain, assuming that I had simply bruised my belly with my inadvertent poke. However, the next day I was still in pain, so I took a look at the offending area. As a quick aside, I've always had a deep belly button. Like the innas of innas. I could plunge my finger in up to my proximal phalanx with no issues. But when I looked at my belly button now, it seemed deeper and wider than before. And what's worse, a layer of gunk had accumulated around the entrance to my old mouth. Think of the kind of gunk that builds up around ear piercings. It's mainly sebum, dirt, and old skin. My belly button had never been obviously dirty before, so I knew something was afoot. Or a belly? After a quietly muttered, "WTF? Ew," I fetched a tissue and wiped away the offending schmutz. I considered where this muck may have come from, and realized that it must have originated from my belly depths. I grabbed a Q-tip and gingerly inserted it into my belly button. 4 Q-tips later and my horror was mounting rapidly. My belly button was so dirty, and so deep, and so stinky. I swabbed the decks as best I could, then just sat and stared into the middle distance for a bit. Have you ever had a moment when your perception of yourself as a functional adult human being is completely shattered? When you realize that there is a fundamental aspect of self-care that you've just never done? When you wonder how you've made it this far as a person in society. This was my moment. I texted my mom, a retired nurse, to confirm my fears. I believe that my naval neglect resulted in a buildup of gunk that slowly filled up my belly button. At some point, I think the gunk sort of sealed my belly button together like some sort of disgusting letter. When my washcloth slipped, I broke the seal of my decades-old missive and freed the contents. To date, this is the silliest and most embarrassing injury I've ever inflicted upon myself. My mom joked that I could try carbon dating my layers. I'm a geologist, and said that the pain I'm feeling is probably because the gunk in my belly was stretching out that area and affecting my pain receptors. Now I'm leaving my belly button alone for a few days to see if it heals up and feels better. If not, I'm headed to the doctor. Moral of this story: remember to brush your old mouth, or you'll end up like me, fundamentally and irrevocably changed, with a sore belly and a mind full of regrets. To clarify, I'm taking care of my belly button and will wash it out with hydrogen peroxide and isopropyl alcohol. Also, I'm a woman with tiny baby hands and small fingies. But I'm learning that my belly button may be abnormally deep. Maybe I'm in the running for a new Guinness World Record. Where do I go to submit an application? I also have a deep innie and I discovered I had a navel stone a few years ago. It still gives me nightmares. My belly button goes up to almost my second knuckle. I legitimately will get a fungal infection in my belly button if I do not keep it clean. Yes, you can get a fungal infection in your belly button. I was also mortified at myself when I discovered this. I don't clean my belly button but always assumed it wasn't that deep. Fuck up, just have me a new fear. My dad used to say you could unscrew your belly button and your butt would fall off. Said he was in the army with a guy who unscrewed his belly button in the helicopter and his butt fell out of the back of the aircraft, never to be seen again. Now I have a deep fear of anyone touching my belly button. This story made my stomach hurt. I hope your belly button and your butt are okay. I am now and forever referring to my belly button as my old mouth. How deep are people's belly buttons? Mine is maybe 1.5 centimeters in. This guy sounds like he could fit his whole finger in there. My Nana was a surgical nurse and she was specifically on belly button cleaning duty quite regularly. When I was growing up, she instilled in me the great importance of a clean belly button. She never gave me specific details, stories, but frequently reminded me of the disgusting belly buttons she had seen over the years. Several years into our relationship, I made the mistake of sticking my finger into my husband's belly button. He tried to warn me, but I paid no attention after all. What's worse about a belly button than any other part of the body? The smell. It took a lot of producing articles as evidence for me to prove to him that this was not, in fact, the usual state of things. And I've been forced to wonder ever since if his entire family of adults doesn't understand basic hygiene. I went delving with a Q-tip and produced a literal piece of cloth it must have absorbed from a t-shirt that seemed to be the main source of the stench. He now religiously washes it with soap every shower. FYI. Folks, be gentle with the button. I've read some horror stories. Thanks for sharing. I am positive pretty much everyone that read this post inspected their belly buttons. I have read so many weird medical stories about the wild variation in the human body that I really thought I had reached the limit of my ability to be surprised by it. But learning that you and multiple people in the comments have belly buttons deep enough to shove whole fingers into has shaken me to my core. I may never recover from this. This trait seems common, mundane, and entirely benign, and yet it fills me with a visceral horror and perverse fascination that I cannot adequately express. God bless you and your weird belly button. But I am having a crisis. Wasn't exactly an injury, but after my doctor told me my ear was full of wax, I worked at it with a shower head sprayer and some soap. A bullet-sized monstrosity of earwax came sliding out. It felt a lot better. But WTF. I routinely clean my ears now. I'm so particular about cleaning my belly button. I'm now pregnant and it will pop out soon, and I'm excited to get it cleaner than I have before. FYI, if you are ever having any kind of surgery that will result in incisions on your abdomen, please clean your belly button beforehand. After you're under anesthesia, the nurse will clean your belly button and the entire room will discuss if it's gross. We don't judge patients for much in the operating room, but dirty navels make the list. Who else checked their belly button after reading this? Thanks, I hate it. It's 1 a.m. and I'm lying in bed with the lights off, but now I have my phone's flashlight shining into my belly button and a Google search that says, how to clean belly buttons. A true horror story, well written. It's true. And I wish it will never happen to me. If you're reading this, your finger has been in your belly button for too long. Stop it. I've never heard the belly button referred to as your old mouth. I'm torn between hilarity and horror.
If you enjoyed this video, Please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.